Much love and peace to all watching and or listening to Candid Stories of My Soul with myself, the host, Raquel Shelby. Please take the time to like and share this video. You never know who you can help and who you might just inspire or who might just enjoy it. From the moment we take our first breath and every experience that follows builds us up and creates the individuals we are today. In life, we will experience both the good and the bad because, in order for balance to exist, both must coexist. There cannot be good without bad, nor can there be chaos without peace. The Creator is the author of it all. Whether we believe in a God source or not, He is within us all. Source is within us and is present at all times, just as much as our own DNA. You will get to audibly and visually witness many journeys of individuals as they are living, breathing, and ever growing documentaries in the flesh. Many will attest to how the Creator was there, and many of these accounts will be mind blowing. Today, I have spiritual advisor Keisha, and this will be one excellent interview. So, thanks for tuning in. Stay with me, and we'll be back with Keisha. Hey, Keisha, how are
Hey,
you doing today?
hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
It's an honor.
Oh,
Anytime I can tell my story.
that's what it's all about. So many times we people want to be in the know with people we consider to be important, right? When all
Yeah,
of us are important, everybody in humanity, every human is important, right? And everyone has a story. And I think the story of the person that you just meet at the corner store is probably far more interesting than say
mhm,
these Hollywood stories. So
yeah.
introduce yourself, tell us what you do and everything, who you are today, and then we're going to take it backwards.
I'm Lakeisha Wright. I'm a spiritual advisor and I love helping people. Always have since I was small. As I matured into my psychic abilities, um, I just had more passion to communicate, get the word out to people on how to evolve in a better state of consciousness, and to bring the truth. The main thing is bring the truth. So this is an opportunity for, like you said, people on the street that you run into, they got very important stories. So this is an opportunity for me to voice a lot of my experiences on how I even got into being a psychic, as they call them, psychics, or into metaphysics. And that's what I do.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, because you are the type of person that the world needs, you know.
Yeah,
And I believe everyone has gifts, but everyone's not awakened to them. So the
yeah.
ones that are awakened and activated and active out here, they're very essential, especially in these times. When would you say that your awakening began?
Well, now, and I'm gonna say I had my awakening. First, I'm gonna start off saying I'm a little nervous, and usually I'm not nervous. I think I'm a little nervous because I'm telling my story.
Okay.
Usually, if I come on, do an interview with something, I'm giving some kind of reading or giving other people advice on what to do,
Mhm.
or learning their story. So, for me to be telling my story is like I'm good. I'm getting a little nervous because even when I go on interviews, I do my background, but it don't get into probably the questions you about to ask me. You
I,
know, so
I
so
won't be too
uh,
bad.
I had my awakening. I'm gonna say my awakening happened in 2017, but before then, I always had, I always used my intuition, always have. Ever since I was a child, I always loved helping people as I started off, but I knew it was something different because my family and everything, they would consider it weird. I stayed to myself, always had questions about God. So it was always in me. So I
Right.
think through my different milestones of my life, I had different awakenings. Some was small, some was large. And as your conscious, as you lift your vibration, your conscious, you become conscious of a lot of things that's way beyond. So as I kept evolving, I had my major transformation in 2017, but
Okay.
it was an ongoing journey, an ongoing process at the same time. So
Okay.
that's why I say it's not one particular awakening. It was many. And I still have certain awakenings. More are more powerful than others, but it's a constant thing because you constantly evolving in this knowledge, it's infinite knowledge.
Right.
So you
Right.
gonna constantly be lifting your vibration or having different awakenings. But my
So,
major one was 2017.
okay, and yeah, so that's basically what I was gonna ask you. Like, so but it was 2017 that the light bulb went off. Like something is going on. Like because you're right, it's a ever growing thing, and I think a lot of us are. You do have some form of it as a child, but I think because you're a child, you're not really paying attention to that, and you're so innocent and you're very close to it. But as you get older, life and circumstances and things kind of,
Exactly.
you know, kind of
Yeah.
tilt you off a little bit, and then boom, here you you come back
Yeah.
like a rubber band.
Then you be taught certain things.
Yes.
So that take away a lot of a lot of people trust in their intuition because you told what to do, what to say, how to behave. So that kind of detour you. So
True.
yeah, I had a major awakening in 2017. I kind of knew it was coming because as I said, I always um I have a gift, but my gift is not in just psychic. I channel different things, I have different visions. um I can pick up different energies and stuff like that. So that's why I just say a spiritual advisor, because I have gifts in different things dealing
Okay.
with supernatural, dealing with the supernatural.
So in 2017, how was that awakening? Like, how did it go? What happened?
Now, that awakening was extremely, I don't want to say, it was extremely powerful.
Okay.
um like you said, it was like a light bulb went off, you know um it was like God actually communicated to me that exact time. So I
Okay.
always knew I was close to God and I was receiving messages from God. um sometime sometime I would doubt messages, but I started learning that God communicate in many forms. Even when you think you don't get one message, it's gonna come back around so you can know that you communicating with your higher power. So you
Mhm.
won't ignore it. So this was something I couldn't ignore. Cause through that time, as I said, my many awakenings, the ones I had before that, they were mild. So I just started becoming the same way. Me receiving my messages, telling people what I knew or whatever people I came in contact, if I felt it was a need for me to tell them something. But that day, it was like I actually had a conversation with God.
Mm.
So it was extremely powerful because it was so much love that I could not contain that energy. I had to tell my family, I was telling friends, calling them up. It was so powerful. I felt like I had to deliver this message that, God is with us. This love. I mean, I was sounding, really crazy at that time, but that's how powerful it was because it's something you can't even obtain or explain. I
Okay.
just knew it was love, it was light, and I had a vision along with that. So the vision that vision that I received along with the awakening, that's when my whole life took a whole nother direction. Because at that time I knew that I was chosen to be a servant for God, meaning to
Hmm.
make sure I spread messages regarding light, to get people to go within, to get back to God. Um, and after that, I also had to cut things out my life. So that communication that I had with God, it was also directing me to understand that I had to cut a lot of things out in my life that was not serving me,
Hmm.
to better myself. So I took that journey because I understood that this is me. I'm a vessel for God. And after that, that's when I started using the divinity tools, started doing YouTube and the Instagram. And I'm gonna say this too. A lot of people that have gifts, like all of us have gifts,
Hmm.
but a lot of us hide. The main thing I learned from that awakening was I was hidden. As I said, I had it since a child. I always just kept to myself. Always, my grandma was a pastor, so we always talked about God. I always wanted to play church. I just really stayed close to God, even through my teenage years. I always used to pray. That's the main important thing that she taught me was the all authority is God.
Hmm.
So during that time of that awakening, I knew right then that I had my consciousness had reached a certain level that I couldn't even fully understand. So that was kind of scary too. You know, it was scary because I had to understand the process of, if is this about me? Is this about the collective? Is this about somebody I know? Because I was getting so many messages coming in that I had to, go through like, hold on, this about my life. This not about them. So that's when the tools came into play because I had to see the storylines. I needed something to direct, okay, this happening in the collective, this happening with me. So that's how I end up using the tarot cards to
Okay.
give me more of a description and guide me to break it down on different things that's happening in the world. But as I started learning, I also didn't need them because when I break out the cards, it was just coming out, my
Okay.
intuition.
So how did you okay, I'm gonna ask that in a minute. I wanna get when a lot of times we tell people things like you were excited, you had this awakening, you wanna share. And what I've learned is everything is not meant to share. We want to share, but sometimes you need to just hold it. Not to say you won't share it in the future. It's just to say it's not always time to jump the gun
Yeah.
and share. So, how did people respond when you were in the spirit of sharing? How was the feedback?
The first thing, as I said, they thought I was crazy. Um,
Mm,
then at the same time they was telling me, well, we know you have this gift, we
mhm,
know you this kind of person, but then at the same time they couldn't understand it, so they went against it. A lot of people went against it. um I think more so it was the energy I was carrying also, um where if you was around me, that you would know that I was carrying a powerful energy. It got to the point where it was making other people confess. It was making other people masks come off. It was
okay.
exposing so many things because, as I told you, God is about truth. Um, and I want to say this, like you said, some things you don't supposed to share. Now that was one thing that did come through my awakening
Okay.
as far as the sharing part. Um, through that awakening, I had received that that's the reason the world is in the condition it's in now, because people not sharing enough. You
Mm.
know, people not sharing enough knowledge, they keeping it hidden. And if they're keeping it hidden, how can anyone better themselves or, use the tools that's left for us if they keeping certain knowledge hidden, or if they not showing you the correct or teaching you the correct things that you need to know. I so I got some other things around the hidden knowledge piece too. Like I told you, at that time I was also hidden. I didn't know I was hidden. And what I mean by hidden is I always receive different spiritual messages, and I tell people that was always around me, but I never took it to another level as far as saying this is what I'm about to focus my life on. So when that transformation happened, that happened right before the new age of Pisces was about to leave. So that was a significant time, and that was regarding a prophecy also that was about to manifest.
Mm.
So I felt that it was the time for people to understand, even people that was in my life, to understand that they are miseducated on different things that they are believing in, even with serving God.
Mhm.
So the first thing I had to do was practice what I preach. If you want people to take you serious and for them to understand this is the correct path, you have to walk them shoes and also experience and be able to, they have to see the light within you.
Right.
So I felt like a lot of things that even when I was telling people, I got kind of nervous, because like you said, certain stuff I didn't want to share, but I had to get over that because once I shared it, they were able to evolve. Without that knowledge, they would have been on standstill or stuck. That's why they say wisdom is power. Because when you don't know, you can't do better. So that was the main thing they need to know. And a lot of people went against me. Some people I'm still not associate with right now because of I chose my spiritual path. I chose the light. And that's the most difficult part too, is family. You find out a lot of people that you are around, they dislike you, they just dishonest. Their heart is not pure.
I think you know what, and I believe you. I think my thing is I don't know why I don't be caring about that part. But
Yep. But you know
but
what? I also didn't care. And I think that was my lesson too. Like my lesson, and it's funny you brought that up because as I told you, I was always a person that kept to myself. I
yeah,
had friends I got out, but I was okay with being by myself.
me too.
But I think that by me not caring, I also learned the lesson in that because it made me care for things that I thought that I wouldn't. Family that I probably didn't even really associate with a whole
Okay.
lot, just here and there, and it ended up mattering because, like, once people are exposed, it brings a whole nother side of them out. So it showed me how envious they were. Jealousy and envious is a whole nother thing. Envious person, that's because that's dealing with hate, and
Mhm.
hate is a very strong word. So if someone can be sitting around you and hate you, may come over, eat with you, go shopping with you or whatever, if they can sit and hate you and be plotting all kind of malicious things behind your back, even with me seeing, I saw certain things, but when I say my lesson was learned, I didn't want to believe it. I used to
Okay.
say I don't care. You see, but I was made to care because it was so malicious that I had to care for me to see the truth. If
Mm.
I didn't see the truth, or if I would have just kept on, never be able to pay attention to the signs or different things that was coming up about different particular people. So, like now, like I said, I don't associate with these people right now to this day. It really cut like all my people out of my life. Like, I think I got one other person, and you know her, Felicia. I don't have nobody in my circle, and people that I go around, it just be so uncomfortable a lot of times because, um, I know the different supernatural. I know it's a spiritual war,
Yeah,
so you gotta be mindful when you helping people and you carrying certain power. You can't trust nobody. That's why you find a lot of spiritual people. They be real particular about who they let in their circle.
they do. They do. That's so true. And it seems like a lot of people on this path, including myself, they do kind of stay to themselves. They don't have a lot of people around. And it's
Hmm.
not that you don't have associates and stuff like that, but you're just not
Right.
pressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're not pressed,
You
and
built
you
not to
good.
be pressed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So, what growing up? What were you? Because you did explain that you said your grandmother was a pastor, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what faith was that?
Baptist.
Okay, Baptist. And I think it's very important for me to ask these questions because a lot of
Hmm.
spiritualists have come from very religious backgrounds.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm making
But that's
something
true.
plain here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so that's deep. So you were raised Baptist. Um, so now here it is. You're operating in this gift. And you said something. I want to touch on the fact that you said about sharing. You learned that we don't share enough. And you also said something about a spiritual roar. And I'm sure you are aware of this. The spiritual community, whether they be some of them be organic or not, or I won't say unorganic because that might confuse people. What I will say is different people we're all connected to source
Right.
regardless, but different
Yeah.
people tap into their gifts different ways. Some
Exactly.
people be dipping and dabbling in stuff to enhance stuff um that they
Exactly.
might not have it gotten just or it might have took a longer time to get there or whatever the reason
Exactly.
they wanted the big kaboom. And so but they still, even with that, still give positive messages. They still do their tarot readings, and I'm not saying whether they're always malicious or
Yeah.
not malicious, but their messages still are motivating.
Right.
And I've noticed that it's they're being lost in the algorithm. Their reach is being shortened, and a lot of that stuff. So it's definitely an attack on truth, an attack on enlightenment. And I want to know, what are your thoughts about that?
Um, I noticed also, just from different people that I like to watch,
Mhm.
and just in a spiritual community, I feel that I actually had picked up on a few people that were being spiritually attacked. They know they being spiritually attacked.
Mm.
Um, and I watch them also change. You know, they message start changing. From when I first started, I may started when they first came out and up into a certain point now. I see how they message has changed.
In what
And
way?
majority of them, I had noticed a lot of negativity.
Mm.
Um, and I want to say this: it's extremely important to know when you are delivering light through this social platforms that, you gonna have people come at you, trolls, whatever.
Mhm.
But a lot of people don't understand the background of things, um or the viewers don't understand that person may be chosen for a certain thing to carry out here on this earth. It don't
Mhm.
matter if they got 100 followers on down to 5,000. God don't look at your followers. So I'm
Mhm.
saying that to say that, upcoming people that I know that was, coming, speaking in one code, making sure that they were getting their messages out. And I guess they reach a certain part on their spiritual journey of their enlightenment where they had to choose.
Mm.
And when I say choose, like I told you, you got to practice what you preach. And number one, you have to be in truth. It's no way you can be a prophet from God and not standing in truth, or a divine child.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fake people. So I say that to say that it's exposing a lot of people. Um, I feel that also some messages are not to be communicated on a social platform, because
True.
it give the enemy a lot of room to attack. It's a reason why we talk in parables, as God talked in parables, different things that you communicate, because they can't use certain things against you.
Mhm.
And I also feel that we need to get more in the communities with our word, not just on a social platform, because it's so much manipulation. Yeah, you could follow certain people, get your inspiration through different motivational speakers and all that. But at the same time, don't forget to go within and also focus at delivering your message to, like you said, that person, like me, as I'm telling my story, people that you run into at the grocery stores, people that you know, your neighbors and stuff. Make sure you deliver the messages around people that you are around, and also
Mhm.
your community,
Mhm.
because it's nothing like getting a message one on one from somebody, and it's more personable. That way, you are eliminating a lot of energies.
Mhm.
Because if you giving a message online, you gotta remember, I didn't even heard people say that after they got done, they felt like the attacks came on more, because you gotta understand the unseen.
Mhm.
If they know I just told you to do this and XYZ, and then you get off, you may feel like you being more attacked, because now you starting to go the right way. You
Right.
know, you gotta remember the enemy is very strategic. So you see how much evil is promoted on these social outlets. So it's not no surprise to me. That's why I told you, I think a while ago, why I stopped doing that YouTube. I noticed it brought a lot of energy, and it wasn't an energy from the viewers. It
Mhm.
was more outside energy from different forces. And that
Mhm.
also, but I had to go through that because that also let me know my power. Why would so much be happening to me? But a lot of
Yep.
people was caught up in followers, they caught up in the wrong stuff. So you got to be mindful if your heart is really pure, so you could walk that spiritual path. Because if it's not, you gonna end up going to left, right. You gonna it's right and left, like you said, light and dark. You gonna end up being detoured because your heart can be bought. And a lot of people with this social media, that's what's happening. They getting viewers, they message started to change, um, and they starting to direct you in a way. I feel with people wanting revenge, I see a lot of that.
Mm.
Wanting to see other people suffer that deal them wrong. Not really explain the process of forgiveness correctly. So it's a lot of stuff that's being misled, but also it sound like it's of light. So you got to know the enemy is very strategic. They has something sounding like light, but it ain't nothing. But in that box, it ain't nothing. It's wrapped like it's a nice gift, but inside you
Mhm.
don't know what's in there. And that's what they doing. You'll be thinking, oh, this person is light and all this. Then you look up 6 months and you see their message pop up. And they talking about some stuff that you like, oh no, that don't go with that. But if you don't know, you will fall for it. A lot of people get detoured right off their path, even through the tarot cards, whatever, psychics, whatever.
Mhm.
And some people, I feel that they use different things to open their third eye. And just because you a motivational speaker don't mean you a prophet of God or a divine child.
That's
See,
true.
a lot of viewers is really getting that confused. You can have a beautiful message, but that don't make you a divine child from God. That don't mean that you are a prophet.
Right. It seems
And
like
so
everybody trying to do that these days.
that where now
Yeah.
they don't recognize the original people
Yeah.
because they get fed by all these fake and fraud people.
Oh yeah.
So I
Oh
see a
yeah.
lot of that in the spiritual community. You know, they being fed by a lot of people that's feeding them the wrong information. They start off with good intent, as I said, very strategic, bait you in on your same, like you said, come from the church, bait you in, you trusting because they mentioned God or Jesus a few times. And next thing
Hmm.
you know, that message start getting twisted. Yeah, you find out they not even living a lifestyle that they preaching about. So that's
Yeah.
a telltale right away. I tell anybody the best thing is to go within. You don't really have to go look for nothing to cultivate your gift. Or you don't have to do rituals. You don't have to do none of that when you born with your gift. It's just each one of us are born with different gifts. And you have to tap into your potential of your gift.
So when you found out, or when you went through your awakening, you didn't did you study at all or anything, or you just let everything come organically? Because like you said, you don't necessarily have to do all this extra stuff. So.
Okay, I'm gonna say I studied. I did study, but the studying that I did, my studying was a form of when I receive a message,
Mhm.
I would look it up. Sometimes I couldn't find the stuff. I was already informed that a lot of stuff through the social media, you're not gonna find what you're looking for. So, you know, I went to the libraries, I went to certain monuments, read the history of certain monuments, read about the land. You know, I was divinely guided what I need to know so it can be of truth because it's so many lies, it's so many illusions. So first I had
Mhm.
to get truth. But my studying really came literally from God telling me what to look up. And you know, you hear everybody say God put it on our heart. That is so true.
Mhm.
Everything is literally written on your heart because everything I had actually knew was on my heart. And when I look it up, it would be exactly what's pertaining to my life. Everything we need to know is that's why they say it's within, it's on your heart. So that's why I didn't really um and I'm gonna say I had to a lot of my studying was also um hands on, you know, like literally walking through it or being put in that situation to learn how to maneuver out of certain things.
Okay.
I don't study the astrology and nothing like that, but as I was evolving, naturally it just started coming to me on what stage the planet's in. You know, I didn't study none of that. I would just know. It would come to me, okay, now we moving in ox year, the Chinese year ox and different things like that. I didn't really know. Then I look it up once I see why am I constantly seeing an ox or something. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As I start getting more in tune, and that's when I start studying. Okay, let me look up why I keep seeing the ox. And then I see, oh, that's why I'm seeing this ox. It's about to be the ox Chinese year dog leaving or whatever, you know? So that's how I know also that every culture, we all play an part in a important part on this earth. You know, I don't knock no other religion or, you know, Buddhist, none of that. That it's all different systems.
Mhm.
Each of us have our own savior, you know. So I feel that a lot of my life also I learned about other cultures that I didn't even know about
Okay.
or didn't even care to know about, you know. So that's when I knew I was raising my vibration because I just wake up knowing something about a culture that I'm like, I don't know about monks or I don't know about, Arabic people or Arabic language, so it's different things that I start just paying attention to, and then I go study after I will receive what to study, because that's important. You got to know what to study, you
Right.
know. A lot of people study different things, and it can feel it's so much knowledge that a lot of people can go crazy. You heard them say, be careful what you ask for, because it's so much knowledge.
Mm.
And as you keep evolving, a lot of walls get broken down, and you start seeing that veil get pulled, and you start seeing illusions. So that's why really I don't study. I don't. I really wait for my messages, because um eventually they gonna come. They always have. And I found out then, even looking certain stuff, like I didn't even have to really do that, because it eventually came for me to know the next piece to what I needed to know. It was just the time. God timing is different from ours.
That's
So
true.
it was hidden for a particular time. So I started learning that, but that's things that I had to learn. Like I said, I had more hands-on training,
Okay.
from the Most High.
Okay, because I was thinking like maybe I should go to the library, but you bring up a good point. Like,
Yeah, you got to go to the library to get to the books. You
yeah,
know, like they say, that room they got to open up. It's literally a room they got to open up to get to them books. You got to schedule appointment, time, date, and everything.
what?
Yes, because it's a lot of ancient knowledge. Then it's certain libraries only carry so much. So. Um, I received the things that I needed. You
Okay.
do you gonna receive what you need. You don't really have to look hard. Sometimes it just fall. Most of the time it fall on your lap when it's meant for you to know it, so you can know your next move or your next step on what you need to do. And I had to learn that too, because I was so excited. Like I told you, love was so powerful that I didn't see nothing else. I just wanted to just had that feeling, but I knew that God told me this for a reason too. But I just didn't want to understand it, because I just wanted to rest in that light. Like, oh my God, this is a lovely feeling. God know my name. But it was something real, and I found that out. And a lot of people, when they had a awakenings, they may get a story like it's just a walk in a park or something. And I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't a walk in the park. Wasn't. I just knew it was an important time. I did. I just knew it was a very important time, because I was getting a lot of stuff before my awakening, but I knew at that moment that something is about to go on with this world. I felt it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Mm-hmm.
that was 2017.
Yeah, I've start feeling most of these deep feelings 2020. To be honest, I mean, I will say little awakenings and things have come. I've always been one to be a dreamer,
Yeah,
receive messages in my dreams and stuff like that. And
yeah. A lot
like
of
I,
people get their messages in their dreams.
yep, that's how I would get mine. I had talked to my great grandmother in my dream when I was younger, and I had also seen. Not, I wasn't dreaming at this point. I was awake,
Like, yeah,
and
because
I
I used
seen
to
this
get mine
girl.
awake.
Yeah, I had seen this girl, and she clearly wasn't alive.
Yeah.
And she was very angry, and she was charging at me, and it was a very interesting experience. And after that experience, because they do say that once you sometimes, and this doesn't happen to everybody. I don't understand that, because sometimes people be scared and stuff still come to them. So I don't know, but for whatever reason, I believe that I was so terrified that I never had a situation like that occur again.
Hmm.
And,
But right. Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Did you say, oh, I never want to see this again or something?
I don't know what I said. I just remember
That's
just
important too. That's very important too, because I know somebody that they was seeing dead people, and they got so scared that they actually prayed, like, I don't want to be able to see this. And after they prayed, they didn't see it no more, that they weren't able to see it.
I remember being in the car and like, at first you see something, you tripping, you think you tripping, but
Mhm.
then
Right.
I turn around and I see her charging, and the more I kept seeing it, then I started kind of getting into panic, and so I was screaming and like kind of crying, and my mom, she started praying, like she started praying and like speaking in tongues and all this stuff,
Yep.
right?
He probably prayed it away.
And it was gone. I didn't see it
Yeah,
after that.
she prayed it away. You said speaking in tongues.
Mhm. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
So
come from a Pentecostal apostolic, and,
okay.
I've always wondered too, and not to say my mom's malicious, but I've always wondered if she had something to do with these, um, blocks that I felt that I have, you know? So, I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
that's the
I think all our parents got something to do with it. Like I tell anybody, our parents are the agents from God. We come from God. They just carry us, and it's just unfortunate when we face things like that, because you have to respect your mother and father.
Mhm,
We know that, but it's just unfortunate, because I also, I think about things like that, how it affect my life. And even if I'm healed from certain things, it still comes up in life.
mhm,
Like now, it's talking about it, and it's just unfortunate because the lack of knowledge that they had, or the things that they've been through in their life, it carried over on us. And it is a such thing as your offspring bears certain things that your parents did. People don't
mhm.
want to believe it. Like you said, I wonder if that held me up. That's a whole nother conversation, 'cause that can get real deep.
Oh,
But
yeah. You gotta be able to parent that stuff, and everybody's not ready to parent. That's a whole on top of being a parent, just the general package is a
yeah,
conundrum in itself, and now I have to parent that, you know what I'm saying? And, um, I I have a suspicion that my mom understood what was going on, so I think she knows certain things, but she slips over to the religious side to block them and rolls with that. I'll just say that.
yeah.
I'll
I
just
told
say
you,
that.
a lot of people try to hide behind religion. That's why you would hear some people say they were molested by they uncle, he was a deacon at church, or they grandfather, he was a pastor, or nobody's perfect. I want to be clear on that. But you got to understand too that when they are living, and if you are close to God, them kind of acts are healed. So I'm saying that to say anybody following anyone, you got to understand, when you are healed, you don't commit stuff like that. So a pastor, or a mother that's not doing what they supposed to do, even if they saying they go to church every day, for stuff to change, they gotta change.
Mhm.
So a lot of people cover behind religion because they feel that after they done somebody wrong, you know, they I guess that get them some kind of satisfaction, to feel like they still serving God or something. It's just like a
Mhm.
twist. It's twisted, really. Cause I
Oh, I
see
know, honey. I could talk about it all day off a
Yeah, I've
camera.
seen a lot of church people, they be real malicious, and I think I told you that too. A lot of that's changing, A lot of people, I think we forced to go within. So we
Oh
can, like
yeah.
I told you, to see the truth, because a lot of these people, they are monsters.
Oh yeah, that
They're,
COVID shut a lot of stuff down. And
yeah,
even with Joel Osteen and that
yeah,
whole money scandal and all that,
yeah,
or
they are monsters.
mm-mm,
Money is driven at money be the motive, and they are driven by it.
mhm.
Especially if say they wasn't driven by it at first. They may go out and get in all kind of financial debt, get desperate or whatever, got an image to keep up. So it's all kind of things that can steer people off their path. I'm not saying none of them wasn't right all the time, but what I'm saying is different tests that we all face every day that come in our life to test us to see if we even worthy of having certain things.
Yeah.
And you wonder like how they get that big. Everybody. That's why I told you what I say in the beginning of this. A lot of people that are evil, they come in as light.
Mhm.
They preach about God because that's their way of baiting you in and get you comfortable with them so you can trust them. And they the most wickedest people, not all Christians or whatever religion, but everybody knows somebody like that.
To do this, I believe, this is my belief, to be in this work, two things. You need to be humble
Hmm.
and you need to be able to check the ego. You need to
Yeah.
be able to put it in a kennel,
Yes. Yes. So
because if you do
true.
not kennel that ego, it will take over.
Yes.
It will
Yes.
take over, and that's the real, that's a battle in itself. That's a
Yes.
real battle. The spiritual versus the ego.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, I don't know, my advice would be pace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That don't mean you don't make some
Mm-hmm.
investments, but pace yourself, because
Yeah.
if you blow up, we're all human. We're still bound to this flesh while we're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So the flesh has temptations of a 3D reality,
Mm-hmm.
of materialism. So quite naturally, if you rush out the first time you get popping, because people are drawn to this. I
Yeah.
don't care what it is. The people are drawn to this, and when it makes them feel a certain way, the curiosity of it all, the inspiration, just the various of things that comes with this, it makes people give money. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they be at that church giving all type of
Yeah.
money, and the man be a straight snake, and they
Yes.
giving the money. So imagine you being pure coming through and really radiating that, and then people are giving you money, and then you just go ahead, take this money, and you get all of these things. Now
Yeah.
you're compromised. You jumped into it too fast. Pace yourself,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you
That's
don't
true.
want to get into the where you have to choose.
But you
Man,
right.
I don't wanna let this go, because it's hard. I mean, I can say I don't even have it, and I know, and I'm not even materialistic, but I'm sure if you got a house off the water, you're
Mm-hmm.
living good, you don't work a 9 to 5, you can do what you wanna do, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You have nice
Mm-hmm.
vehicles, whatever. It's gonna be hard for you to let that go.
But you right. You right. They got
So
an
you gotta pace
image.
yourself.
They got a certain image to keep up with. But
Mhm,
that's true. It's different. That's why they say it's different levels. And that's true because even if you not, just say you not famous, rich or whatever,
mhm,
um, or you feel you don't have an image to keep up, you still face some certain tests. It's just lower levels.
yeah,
So we face them tests each day. Either, I think I had this conversation with you before. Even if it's something with you, with your morals, dealing with your morals. Making a decision if you gonna make a choice between something you don't want to do
mhm,
versus something will be a better decision for you to do. But the decision that go against your morals or integrity is something, it may be easier or quicker. So, as any path, that's why a lot of people choose that way because it's the easiest. And like you said, pace yourself, but they don't want to pace themselves.
mm-mm,
They got people they trying to prove stuff to. They want to show even a mother or father they can do it without them, but don't know that kind of Like you said, pride, ego, all that builds up and you lose in the end because
Mhm.
pure. It's not like you pushing yourself ahead to say, you know what, I'm doing this for myself. I don't care what nobody say. That's a different thought. But when you
Mhm.
say I'm a prudent wrong or they think I ain't nothing, that's when you went wrong. Because now you not doing it for yourself. You still doing it to keep some kind of image or to have someone believe that you something that you probably not.
And at the end of the day, that's even more problematic because if you really believed in you, you wouldn't care about the rest.
But they don't. That
And
be
that's
the
the
thing.
problem.
They don't. So they look for you to validate who they are. Most people they look for you to get them their identity.
Mhm.
Yo, I need you to tell me who I am. But you thank society for that. You know,
Yeah.
we sit up and well, not me, but I know people that sit up and promote that type of stuff. You know, different images and different things and they have little girls or little boys but they okay with still passing the information along but then when you kicking it with me you acting like you not for that but on the opposite side you can't play both sides.
Right.
You either gonna spread the light or you gonna spread the dark, and to me it be dark because it be something that's making number one black people look stupid.
Mm-mm.
It make us look stupid. You know, it may be something that's just some devastating. Posting a life on there, posting what their kids going through. That's embarrassing for your kids. You
Yeah.
know, you can't tell everything. You don't tell your whole family story on social media. You know, we got a lot of issues dealing with our identity, even our kids' identity. We even trying to make their identity. You got parents trying to have them be somebody they ain't when they and the kids smart now. They telling you what they want. These kids
Mhm.
being born not ignorant. They'll tell you, they'll tell a parent that you don't supposed to do that. When the kids
Mhm.
are telling the parents you don't supposed to do something, and they like 3, 4 years old.
Mhm. Oh, these kids are different because they say or it is said that your child is an older soul than even you are a lot of times.
And
So,
that's true.
these
Okay.
kids be coming through with some
Yes, they coming through.
they
And they
different. They
being
different.
vocal about it. They being vocal about it. They fearless. They don't care what you say to them after you tell them. You know, as you start getting older, you start being concerned. Kids, they don't care. They gonna deliver you the truth
They
because they still pure.
they sure do, don't they? They shoot from the hip, as
Yes,
they would
they
say.
will
You know?
deliver the truth to you, whether it hurt your feelings or not. But you
So
can't
true.
do nothing but respect it. You know, but with adults, we can't deliver truth, or you can't tell somebody something that they feel that majority of the time it be something they want or they desire. You know, people get upset when they feel that they can't have something they desire. I don't care if it's a house, a car, a body. They want to get work done on their body, or if they want to be able to be rich, or whatever the case may be. People are really focused on the material world,
They
and,
are.
and it's unfortunate, but guess what? You can only help the people that want to be helped. And that's important to remember through whoever you helping, whoever you bring on your channel, you can only help who want to be helped. Sometimes it's not their turn to be helped. You know what I mean?
And that's so true. It was so what was it? This message came to me the other day and basically saying what you saying, oftentimes, and this is even relevant to people want all these followers and all that. No, there's an audience for you.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go out helping people, and everybody
Exactly.
can't be helped, at least not at the time.
Yeah.
And whatever you're offering, who's ever seeking what you're offering, they will find you.
Exactly.
And you gotta understand that we wanna go around, trying to, strong arm people.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You
And
don't
you
have to
right.
do that.
You
You know,
right.
don't hide in the shadows,
Right.
but
Yeah.
if you have a certain amount of visibility,
Yeah,
People
yeah,
will, come to you for what they want,
yeah.
and
Like
and
I
and
said,
and that's
this your
wisdom
time.
too.
This your time. That's why they say that. Literally, like you said, God have your audience waiting on you, and the
Yeah,
people that you trying to attract, that may be that them people, them not for you. They may
right.
bring a lot of negativity. Look at some of the people that's promoting a lot of negativity. How many followers they got millions of followers,
Ooh,
and they will tell you they sold they soul.
mhm.
And you have 20 million, 40 million following them. So you wonder why you not getting no followers. They got
It's
40 million
scary.
people
It's really
for one
scary.
person. You see, for one person.
Mhm.
And
I
they supposed to be delivering a big message. Anyone that's carrying 40 million followers or subscribers and they delivering dark messages, then you
Yeah.
tell me what's really going on.
And but even bigger, that's how you know because they're even allowed to have that. Because
Exactly.
if you was spreading the truth and the light, you fighting all type of algorithms, they trying to block you and
Exactly.
everything else. And about back to the online work, I even feel a certain type of way. Of course, my face is on here,
Mm-hmm.
but I will not deny the fact that I do feel I noticed this reader on YouTube. I'll give an example. And she's pretty good. She's pretty good. And she didn't show her face at first. And
Mm-hmm.
she was saying that she was noticing that her views and stuff was going down. Her reach was going down. So
Mm-hmm.
she figured if she showed her face, it would go back up, which I don't think it's that simple. I think it's just designed for her to they gonna snuff if they trying to snuff you out, they trying to snuff you out. Your face,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because it's deeper than
Exactly.
your followers. But I don't know, I kinda feel like you shoulda stayed hidden because I think the less visibility people can hear your voice, they can see your hands, they see your tools. Sometimes I think that's enough because, this is a frequency,
Yeah.
and, the frequency can carry energy, and it does
Yeah.
allow people to attack you and stuff like that. So, I know at first, even you didn't used to show your face and stuff
Yeah. I
like that.
didn't either. And that was the reason, like you said,
Yeah.
why I didn't show my face. Because it attract a whole type of energy.
Mhm.
It does. And I think at that time too, I didn't understand how covered I was. Like literally. I knew I was covered by God and protected by God, but I didn't understand to the extent. Like I had to literally witness. That came with that hands-on training I told you. Like I literally had to see the power of God work in my life to understand how covered and how much God loved me. And it's
Mhm.
not just me, he loved everybody. I'm just saying I really had to see the power because at first that used to worry me. Like not, you know, I don't want to show my face
Mhm.
because I knew within my gut that it was bringing in negative energy.
Mhm.
But I didn't been through so much, so many tests since then that I don't care about showing my face. But at first I did. See, I had to go through something and really understand that you cannot be fearful. That's
Yeah.
period. If you believe you cover, if you know God is all authority, you believe you cover, why are you still hiding? It's some little room of lack because when you carrying that power, it don't matter if you show your face or not.
Yeah. That's
And I
true.
had to really comprehend that. But God knew I wasn't gonna comprehend that until I really walked in some steps to see. And once I understood that, now I don't care because whatever God don't want me to communicate, my mouth would be sealed. It wouldn't just come out. I had to learn this though. I
I
would be,
mean,
oh, did I
that's so true.
supposed to tell somebody this? Did I supposed to? I had to get out of that because it was still some type of small fear in me. You got to remember anything you doubting or things coming up and you trying to hide from it, it's stemming from some kind of fear. And I had to understand that, even if it was
Mhm.
fear what people would think about me, or if it was fear about, they may judge me, even if I didn't know all them hidden fears at that time, I had to go through it to see, like, no, like they say, God not gonna put nothing on you can't bear it. We all got gifts. And one thing I learned, um, and I think I told you this just personally, that I had got scared a few times because I was seeing so much. But as I
Mhm.
started learning that God know exactly what to put on you. And I didn't understand it at first because guess what? That fear was trying to creep in. That fear was trying to make me feel like you going crazy, or it's uncomfortable, or it's too much. See, that's that left brain thinking. So you want start loving yourself more, being happier, more confident in yourself, more brave, courageous, loving
Mhm.
yourself regardless what anybody's saying or what the world is doing. See, them the games, and you gotta remember, you your own worst enemy. Sometimes these are things we've been conditioned to, that we trying to fall back on, so we can't move towards success. It's more comfortable to go backwards. So I had to understand that too. Like, anything that you feel that you hiding, it's probably something you don't supposed to be doing too. Okay? Let's just be honest. I'm gonna say this, a lot of people say a lot of knowledge is hidden in different things with different groups and all that. Let's be clear. If it's meant to be hidden, especially if you talking about you dealing with a divine child or a prophet or whatever.
Mhm.
God know how to seal their mouth, and he know how to unseal their mouth. And I
Mhm.
didn't understand that. He know what you gonna say or what you not gonna say. But
Mhm.
how else would you learn if you don't master it? You have to go through it. You have to learn through the experience before you master something. And that
Oh, well.
and that's what happened.
I learned, just I've learned to let stuff be the
Mhm.
older I have gotten. I remember my cousin and I, when we were younger, we would be like, if we ever feel like no, we would be like, if we ever try to go somewhere and stuff keep popping up for us to get in the way, we
That'll be
not
the
gonna
sign.
go. That's a
Yeah,
sign.
that's the sign.
And,
But you're right. We used to do that.
this
But you're
yeah,
right. I forgot all about that. That's so true.
but everybody
See,
don't
you
catch
have
on to
it.
stuff like that. They
Yeah,
don't. They don't.
but
They
you're
will
right.
push and press and be in some mess. Push and press and be in some
You're
mess. Look at
right
that.
too.
And so, even as I've gotten older, certain people you be trying to schedule appointments with,
Yeah,
them
yeah,
appointments keep getting canceled.
yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
sign.
yeah. But you're right. Don't push. Like
Don't
sometimes,
push.
yeah, rejection is sometimes your majority
It's
of the time.
protection.
Yeah, it is.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah,
We get upset, but it be protection, and I have learned that. I
yeah,
mean, I was supposed to talk to somebody on the phone, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with this individual, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna say that, but, I was supposed to call them a certain day. I called them, didn't get through. Uh, I even called twice, Imma be honest with you.
yeah.
Didn't get through. They let me know that they would call me. The conversation never happened. Now, after that, I haven't called that individual since, and it's nothing I have against them. I don't think nothing's
Yeah,
wrong with them per se. I just think it
was
wasn't
it
meant for
meant?
us to talk, and
Yeah,
honestly, deep down, I kinda feel like, cause we had a pre-talk before that,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like I had got everything I needed from that
Okay,
conversation, and it was really, God just trying to show me that everything you need to know, Imma tell you.
yeah,
You ain't gotta
yeah,
ask this person.
yeah,
It's gonna come, and I think it was a pacing thing, and the reason I say that, not as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about it. This person was telling me things, that you already know, but just kinda
yeah.
bringing clarity to it,
Giving
and
you confirmation on some stuff.
right, confirmation, and then they kept
Hmm.
saying, "But it's a lot going on, cause it was people around, even though they
Oh
weren't listening, it's a
yeah,
lot of energies and interference, so
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
Imma have to we can get deeper in it because there's some messages that you need to know, or some things you need to know. They
Yeah.
was telling me like, or some people around you that ain't who they supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and, just different little things that's no shocker, but
Yeah.
just bringing some clarity. You look, I can see that looking for, you got some great ideas, but you need some direction, you need some clarity on them. We'll talk, and we didn't talk.
Uh-huh.
And so I was fine with not talking because, again, through different years and different
Mm-hmm.
experiences, I have learned, even if I'm eager to initially speak, if it doesn't go through, I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel no type of way because
Yeah.
because of lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
You figure it out. And so it took I'm telling you, I just kept feeling like be still and wait. Just be
Uh-huh.
still and wait. And it gets hard because it's like something's there,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to. It's like having a gift in front of you that you
Yeah.
cannot unwrap. You know that gift is there, but you cannot unwrap and get the contents out of it, and it's kind of aggravating. And so, but I had to be patient, and things are coming in steps. They are coming.
Because it's levels. That's
Yeah.
why. You hear me?
Yeah.
That's why I say it's levels to all things.
It
And
really
that's why
is.
you said it's like the box right there. You trying to get everything out the box. But guess what? You have no access. So the first thing is you got to gain access to that box. And you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that can be the difficult part is the access. How do I get access? See,
Mhm.
you like you using your gift right now, so them the gifts that's in that box, you already got them out. They already outside the box. you
Right.
you got them already. I think more so you trying to get to a higher level. I think more so, not even talking about career or nothing. I'm saying consciously. That's
Oh,
why
yeah, yeah. Because I feel
it's
like I'm hidden from myself.
that you're trying to reach
Yeah.
a certain level where your higher self is pretty much you being we all be divinely guided, but it's a different kind of activation when you are at a certain level. And
Yes.
only through them levels are the tests. That's it, anything you do. So I feel that you got the gift. You you got good
Oh, yeah,
intuition.
but that's the aggravating part because,
But
uh
that's what you supposed to be using that every day to cultivate it, to make it stronger and stronger. And that's where the power gonna come from. Like the power gonna come from you constantly feeding yourself that energy. You know how I always say you go within and do stuff that make,
Mhm.
like, that's very, very important, because I told you God is love. He in a higher vibration. So even if you are balanced, you gotta stay consistently balanced. It's a
Mhm.
consistent thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's many tests throughout the day. you know and it's different things that you have to be learning. See, that's the thing too. You have to be learning. You're learning, as you said, when you said you didn't communicate with the lady. What you say? That's why I say using your intuition now. You
Mhm.
said God told me you ain't got to go through nobody else and get them messages. My point exactly. Once you felt that, be it told to you, you gotta trust. Remember how I told you I was getting messages, then I'm like, I don't know if this concerning me. You know what I mean? Or am I getting this? You know
Right.
what I mean? But I didn't understand that. But it kept like finding me. Like you can't run. You can't run from your path. It don't matter where you go, what, you can't run. It don't matter. So I feel that right there told you that. But
Mhm.
now the foundation of that is you have to really, really trust that. And you thinking, well, how do I get closer to that? What you think you got to do? You got to keep going within. You got to keep meditating. You got
Mhm.
to keep bringing peace in your environment. Peace
Mhm.
is the main thing. That's why you start off saying be peace, be still. Be still is very important. Cuz
Mhm.
not only do you communicate to God, you got to be able to listen.
Yep. Go ahead and preach. And another thing I think is important. I've been feeling the urge and been from my readings also putting my feet in the earth. It's
Yeah.
just so cold now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that becomes a problem. But I'm glad you brought up meditation because that was something I was going to ask you about because that's also something that the viewers need to hear and understand. So, how do you go about your meditation? How is it effective or what's the most effective process that you go through? Because people have different ones. Like I've been trying to do this candlelight
Okay.
meditation, focus on the flame, because I guess it's something where I guess even watching the light of the flame is like your spirit eating light too.
Mhm.
So I've been trying to do that. I don't know. Today I put a
It-
selenite crystal on my head, and
See,
it
and
was
that's the thing too with meditation. Like you don't have to do anything.
okay.
Like clearly, you just like for okay, how I started off. This is how you know what I was meditating before I knew the word meditation.
Okay.
So I really didn't know that's what it was, or if I heard it, I was like, okay, that's that. But I didn't know I was already doing that. So
Okay.
when I started getting more familiar, I'm thinking I already been doing meditation. But it's no special way to do it. Only
Okay.
thing you gotta remember is try to quiet your mind. And when you first start off, of course your mind not gonna be quiet. Give it time. Even if you start off each day 10 minutes, I tell people meditate every single day. Even if you land in your bed and
Mhm.
you first wake up, before you jump up, go run towards the kids or grab your cell phone, rest your mind, close your eyes. Even if you just woke up, close your eyes, lay down, tell your body. You have to tell your body what to do.
Mm.
We about to meditate. Let's meditate. So that way you is going to your is going through your consciousness. You about to quiet down. You know, I
Okay.
don't have a problem with talking to myself and explaining because a lot of times our left brain thinking will try to have us worry or bring up thoughts that's 9 out of 10 ain't even gonna happen. And then we give up on the meditation or we feel it ain't effective. It wasn't that it wasn't effective, is that it got disrupted with some kind of negativity to make you start doubting or just second guessing that you doing it wrong or something. You may, I ain't doing this right. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But consciously, you're born to do it correctly. You doing it probably without you knowing when you just sit in your office and you take a minute just to sit back for a minute and say, "Ooh, I'm tired of everybody. Let me just clear my mind." And you do some breathing. Make
Yeah.
sure you breathe. See, it's effective, number one, because you gonna notice soon as you get done, you breathing better, you not nervous, your anxiety level is not there. And the more and more you do it, the more and more that energy field is gonna feel with more peace, because now you are controlling your thoughts. Even
Mhm.
if thoughts come in, you're controlling it. Oh, I'm not about to worry about that. Ain't it like I tell myself when some try to worry me, it ain't nothing wrong. Soon as I say nothing wrong, I've been saying it so long where now my mind shuts it off. It's like a switch button. It shuts it down. No, them words you need to have, because if not, you will constantly. It's a fight every day for the rest of our life until we here on this earth. So you got to learn all kind of mechanism to have in place when it's time for you to keep your faith strong.
Mhm.
Literally, you have to literally tell your body, you about to meditate. Okay, we about to meditate today. Meditate 10 minutes. Start off just 10 minutes. Get up. Do stand up. I do different things.
Okay.
I didn't implemented other little different things in my meditation, but I'm gonna tell you how. After I started just clearing my mind, just doing basic meditation, as I started involving, I started doing stuff that I didn't even know I knew how to do because my
Mm.
knowledge, everything started coming naturally because I'm putting more into me where my natural gifts, my natural, everything natural is coming.
Mhm.
And you got to understand when I mean natural, it means you don't got to go look this up. You can look it up after you do it, and you'll notice this what I've been doing because your mind, your
Mhm.
higher self is literally directing you because now you're in peace. Peace is everything.
It is.
Like
It really
literally,
is.
peace, peace bringing all your messages. I mean, I didn't observed it. Like if I'm frustrated, and then I go sit down a minute and say, no, I'm getting too worked up. Let me calm down. I do it for 5 minutes. Soon as I get done, I notice that it calmed me all the way down. At first, it didn't start off like that because I had some really anger. I had anger problems. It wasn't
Mhm.
where I was going off on everybody. Somebody did something to me or pissed me off, I would take it there. I wouldn't hesitate to go off or snap.
Mhm.
Now it's like I still stand my ground, but I'm a lot more respectful. I know how to hold back my emotions. I'm not, but that meditation helped me balance all that. Cause
Yeah.
that's the quiet time. I say that's the quiet time I'm connected with me and God. And after I get done, you able to discern your messages also. My problem before was I would get done and I would still be seeking. And I was seek like, oh God, when God about to see my next message, I was so excited and just seeking. And I had to find out that that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. It was I had supposed to surrender, let it go. Like I told you, if a message don't come, it's not met. It's going to come when it's meant for you to know. So I
Mhm.
started learning through my meditation that I have to surrender. I have to stop seeking after because I already sit my message out. God already know what I'm asking, so it's gonna be already told to me. And once I start mastering that, I got a lot better, even now to this day.
Yeah, I
I
got that
even
message too.
just
I think in the
2 days.
reading.
Like, yeah, 2 days, 3 days, even if it sometimes I get it right there. But if I get it 3 days, guess what I found out? It was some other parts of that puzzle that I needed before I got to that part. And I'll be thinking that's why I didn't get it because this played a significant role in that.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
really just about trusting. You got to trust yourself
Yeah.
too.
That's so
Because
true.
soon as we always think we doing something wrong. Have you noticed that though? Seriously, we
Yeah.
always think we doing something wrong, and that's the first thing where the failure happens because the person don't push forward because they thinking I'm doing this wrong, and really every that was everybody first step to
Yeah. I mean, it's
learn,
true.
gain it. So that's
It's
why I tell anybody you could sit on your couch, turn the TV down, just do it. Keep doing it. Just don't do it one time. Keep doing it. You're gonna start seeing. And but when you meditate, you also do. I always say like do a prayer before you meditate. You know what I mean? You want to really build a relationship with God and communicate because that's you and God intimate relationship. You want to be able to talk, and
right.
then you go into your meditation. Like even when I get so busy and I can't just sit down or something, I still talk or send my signals out when I'm up because I know I don't want to get far away. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? stuff too serious to be getting far away. This world is too evil to be far away from God. So I'm like, no. Hey, if I could do just like today, I said I had a lot of stuff I did today. I said, nope, I did all that stuff. I'm glad I got this tonight. Because if I don't have nothing, if I feel I'm not giving my service to God and I can do everything else, that's an issue. I
Yeah,
gotta put something in there. I don't care if it's helping somebody get a ride home. I gotta do something.
that's
And
deep.
we all gotta do that.
Yeah,
Because if not, it's like I'm taking from what I that's how you cultivate your gifts too. You
yeah,
have to. It's like you cultivate your gifts as you give them out too. Like it helps me when I help somebody. That's a fair exchange.
okay.
It's a lot of people taking power from people that don't even understand they giving it. You know, it's no exchange. Like even you, if you get a read and you feel you learned something from it, and the person, okay, fair exchange, you learned something from you. You learned something from it. You benefited from it.
Mhm.
But the lines start getting crossed.
Yeah, I mean, you can, it's so much, and it's everything you've said is very important because people do need to understand that. You do need to be able to trust. You do need to be able to wait, have patience.
Yes,
We are pre-programmed with a lot of negative thoughts and stuff like that. Am I doing it right? And this, that, and
yes.
the third. And I
Gotta
know,
second guessing ourselves
yeah,
all day long. Even with a hairstyle. Think about it, it can be simple things.
mm-hmm. It's
It's
so
it's
true.
it can be simple things. You can't make your mind up on. You it's okay when you're doing it here and there, but once it become constant,
Yeah,
it,
obsessive. It's something going
it's
on.
changing. That it's
Mhm.
changing. You trusting that you don't know the right hairstyle for yourself. You don't think you look nice in this. When before you could have knew you put that dress on, you look good. But now
Mhm.
you need to be validated by everybody else that you look good.
Yeah.
It changed the whole it just changed a whole lot of things. Even I'm 39, and since I've been growing up, I just noticed a difference how the women, even the older women than me, the identity, it's an identity crisis. And how I know that is because I went through one. I didn't know who I really was. Like I felt I was special, but I didn't know who I really was.
Mhm. Mm.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know the kind of power you carry when you stand up for yourself. You believe, you keep your belief strong, your faith, your morals, your integrity. You treat people good. See, they not gonna tell you that.
Right.
They more so tell you what to do to your body, how to change yourself. But it's a different time, and it's important that we doing this now because it's a lot of things um dealing with people body, you know, with the food, everything. So,
Mhm. I'm glad you brought up food. That's my next question. So, as you were going through this enlightenment, did your um appetite, like I'll say, like this year, I decided to like start changing my diet.
mhm.
I still eat certain things, but it's like Monday through Thursday, I have a strict diet.
Oh yeah, your
Um,
diet gonna change
yeah,
for sure. You
and
gonna
then
be
I
more conscious
fast.
of eat. You gonna be more conscious of just eating healthier.
Okay,
You know,
so
you
you did
start.
go through that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I'm gonna tell you this: my body actually started rejecting a lot of foods a long time ago, and
Oh yeah, you're right.
it was before I started realizing it was art. Like I said, you already on schedule. It's already orchestrated. My body was rejecting stuff. And I used to think, okay, maybe I'm getting older or this and I don't like it no more. But as I kept evolving, I started noticing that I would taste like just the poison in certain stuff. Like it just had me my it's like I was seeing behind everything they was doing or something.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I agree. Yeah.
and when I mean once you hit with the truth, You have to change. I know I do. Once the truth be real, you try your best to do things different. If
Yeah.
I mean, you may not could change it in one day, but you try. You get an initiative to try to eat healthier. I was smoking cigarettes. I had to stop smoking cigarettes. I was going through smoking them here and there, then starting back, then stopping. But I had to stop because, like
Mhm.
I said, as you evolve and you start being aware that, why am I smoking something that's killing me? Like, this is another trap. You taking in something that they put out here to kill you. You
Mm.
asking to die. Nobody gotta come kill you. You doing it yourself. It started making me think like that to get me to comprehend. You need to let it go. Cause
Mhm.
if I would never been thinking like that, I'd still be sitting here smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
It changed
Mhm.
a lot of things, not just people around me, but things within my body. My sex and everything. I started looking at sex different. It just changed everything. you
Yes,
know
sex is very important because especially um on this path, you gotta be careful who you intertwining your
yes,
spirit with. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Because they got all type of mess going on now. You fighting that mess
yes. And
while
you
you have
wondering why
grace.
certain things happening in your life, like a lot of women wonder that. you know um like I said, it be hard to let go of things that you desire,
Mhm.
even if they may be bad for you. I mean, we all go through that on our journey, men and women. And as I tell anybody, a lot of them be karmics, and we be meant to come in contact with them to learn different things from them. And then, you could forgive people. That don't mean you got to rekindle stuff or get back with them.
Right.
Just be mindful when somebody mistreats you. I tell anybody, your sign is they mistreat you, you ain't feeling well. If it's not making you happy or feeling good inside, and I'm not just talking about no basic argument, people gonna get into it. But once it start getting toxic, is when it's mental abuse, physical, or you feeling low about yourself. When you feeling bad about yourself, this person make you feel bad. You gotta pay attention to the signs.
That's true.
Or just a liar, or always saying sorry starting off. You got to pay attention to that kind of stuff, because that's a telltale that they gonna continue be a deceiver and a liar. But we may like the way they look, feel, or whatever. We all go through it. But once you get tired of being put down, I believe a lot of women are raised out that low vibration.
Oh,
They
yeah.
say when a woman gets sick and tired, they leave. A lot of us, um, sometimes we got to realize that when it get bad, it's unfortunate, but we do.
I I got a story to tell. See, this is about how everything you were saying is good. Now we supposed to be focusing on you, and I want to get to the metaphysical part next. But I got a story to tell with this because we talking about men and dealing with men, and I learned about men very quick. I mean, I got married at the age, was it 24? I got
Dang.
married at 24. So
Yeah.
I've been married.
Yeah.
I've done a stint.
You have.
And so, but previous to even dating my husband, I was messing around with this guy that was light skinned. Now, I
Yeah.
don't do light skin, okay? So this
Yeah.
is a red flag anyway.
Yeah.
Here we
Right.
go.
Because that ain't even your
That
type.
ain't even my speed. So I met this fool at a bar, and it was my girlfriend for some reason that told me I should talk to him or some kind of way. And this is one of my girlfriends that's always gonna be she's really sweet, and I'm
Yeah.
protective of her, but, she for whatever crazy reason, she encouraged me to talk to this fool. And so I talked to him or whatever, and, women, we pick up on things. I've
Uh-huh.
always been one to pick up on things that like, Keisha's saying, that intuition has always been
Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah,
It's
it
always
has.
been there, and it's always been strong too. It's just that
Uh-huh.
sometimes we don't give it as much credit as
Yeah.
we should.
Or
And
they
so,
song we don't wanna hear. You hear
yeah.
me? We be want that person, like
Mhm. I had this guy, he was trying to be everything he could. He went to church with me because at that time I was still kinda dabbling with going to church.
Yeah.
He joined baby, now I didn't forgot about
Yeah.
this. He
Lord,
joined the church, okay?
he was going all the way in, wasn't
He was doing the most. He something had happened, and I found out that he was involved with his child's mother.
he? Mm.
And,
I'm like, "Oh, man."
I'm like, "Man," but at this point, it's a difference. We got to be cognizant. This is a
Mhm.
deep conversation we're having today. We have to be
Yes.
cognizant about the difference about caring about someone, love, and obsession,
Uh-huh.
okay?
But you right.
Yeah, because
Yep, you right.
sometimes, and I won't even say I was obsessed. I won't be, but it became a task.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like if you're used to, which I am, I've always been used to men being on me more than I ever
Uh-huh.
cared about
Right,
them.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm trying to figure out what's happening here.
That you
So it
want.
becomes a task because
Yeah,
here we
yeah,
go. This
yeah.
this person's not even you. I wouldn't even be tripping on him any other time. But here we go with the task part. So it got so ridiculous. I mean, he didn't want me to talk to anybody else.
Oh, he
Kept
got
saying he was gonna
controlling.
pack his stuff up. It wasn't really controlling, but he was just like it was like, "Imma be with you. Just give me a second.
Yeah,
Imma pack my stuff. Imma leave." Going through this
yeah,
stupid
trying to
stuff.
move fast, basically.
Yeah. This Negro wasn't moving, okay? He wasn't leaving her, but this is what he was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And so, I found out he was still messing he had lied and said his phone was off, girl. I heard his phone ring one time, and I was like, "This nigga lying." And it just got crazy, and then I start,
Talk about his
doing tit
phone
for
got the
tat
ring.
type of mess. So one particular night, and this is going into what's deep. I stayed um at this time I stayed off Finkel between Telegraph. No, I stayed this is Finkel. Between Telegraph and Losser off
Okay.
Finkel. Okay, I'm in the hood.
Yeah.
And I stayed with this guy that I used to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
And the reason why I ended up staying with him is I got put out is a story. We're not
Yeah.
about to get into that. So he knew I was talking to this particular guy, and he was telling me like, that nigga ain't about to. But he let the dude up one night. So I was
Yeah,
asleep. I was asleep.
yeah,
Huh? I was asleep. I
yeah,
slept in the bungalow at the top.
yeah.
And the dude comes over to visit me. And so I'm sleeping. Now, this is how deep it is. I'm sleeping, and in my sleep, I can see something running up the steps in like an infrared vision,
Mm,
like infrared. I could feel the energy and I could see it, but I was
mm.
asleep. I didn't know what it was. So here I'm sleeping. I see this energy running up the stairs in infrared, like a hunter, like you would see
Yeah,
through a hunter glass, like the heat
yeah.
sensors, the different colors. And then he was over me, and I woke up. I'm like, that's what I saw. Okay. So now the mother of his child is outside in the car with him. He wanted me to go with them. He's like, I'm gonna roll with you, and she's gonna drive. Now,
I'm like, what?
the next step is very stupid. Looking back
Yes.
is very stupid. But I've always been one that was very curious. But as the saying goes, curiosity will kill the cat. Because in my mind, in my maybe 21, 22-year-old mind, I was thinking, now at this point, this woman knows about me. Why on earth would she come to pick
They
me up?
want you to
You see what I'm saying, with him. Now I'm not I'm like, "Is this," I
Yes,
got to see for myself. So we went
yes,
over there
yes,
and it started getting a little strange. Nothing happened, and
yes.
I had to get up out of there because I was like, "I don't know what's going on here."
You
But,
couldn't figure it
yeah, they had offered me something to drink. Well, he did, and she was kinda off quiet. It was just really weird, but I think what they was
out. Uh-huh.
trying, I don't know if they was trying to enter into some threesome. I don't know what
Yes,
was going on,
that's what
or
I
they
was
was
about
gonna
to say.
pretend like it was a threesome and then knock me out. I didn't know.
Right, you ain't know what.
Right, I didn't know what it was, so I got the
Yeah,
hell on. I got up out of
say,
there.
oh, girl wasn't acting like she's trying to have no threesome.
Yeah, yeah, so I didn't know what was going on, but I went over there just, out of curiosity, but I ended up going back home. But, I said all that to say, not to show how stupid that shit was, but to really show that the powers be, they
Mhm.
be. I mean,
Yeah,
I just told you I seen infrared, like, that
yes,
that was something spiritual happening there,
yes,
you
letting you
know?
know. And
Mhm,
you know what? That's interesting you saying that because that quietness that they probably like how she was acting or how they were acting,
mhm,
that let you know to go. Like, say they would have been playing their role, she would have been acting friendly. You,
mhm.
you probably would have felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
So it was meant for her to be standoffish and for you to get that message as like just go home. You
Yep,
see,
and
because
I took
it's
my
no
ass home.
telling why you got that dream. Like you said, they could have been trying to set you up. You just don't know nowadays, you know.
Ain't no telling, but that goes back to being protected because I
Yeah,
walked into a situation.
yeah,
There's plenty of things that, looking back, I mean, even to having a neighbor. I had this
yeah,
neighbor. Nothing's wrong with the neighbor. That's not my point. But he was a male. I've always been more comfortable around males. I spent a lot of time
yeah,
with my
yeah,
dad. And he would have his guys over there, and I go over there young. I'm more relaxed. I'm in my pajamas. I
yeah,
don't have on the proper underclothes that I
yeah,
should. I just got on my pajamas. Just stupid stuff, sitting
yeah,
around chit chatting.
yeah,
I could have been taken advantage of. I was just so comfortable in who I've always been very comfortable in my skin
yeah,
and very comfortable, and but,
yeah,
you're not, again, in one
yeah,
incident, curiosity kills the cat, and the other incident, overconfidence can get you into some shit
yeah,
too.
yeah. You're
But, I mean,
right.
it just never happened. They were very friendly guys and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it took my husband to explain because I had started dating him around this time that I was friends with these people, and he was
yeah.
telling me some things, but yeah, so you don't know until you know,
Okay.
and, I
You was
learned a lot. I've
protected.
learned a lot. So, yeah, so we gon' get back to you, and I wanna get into some more, the 2 stories I got was as metaphysical as I can get, so,
Yes.
that I at least can remember.
Right.
So so, if you
You're
don't
right.
mind sharing, if you're comfortable, can you explain some of the what some people would call supernatural occurrences that you have had? Whatever you're comfortable with.
Let me think. Supernatural. Um, hmm, I mean, supernatural experience. Let me think. I done had a few um things that I didn't observe.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna be honest. I never like, and I hope I never will, but I never like seen no dead people or nothing like that. A lot of my supernatural things that I see,
Okay.
um, it be um things of things that are to come.
Okay.
So um I didn't see things as far as um different visions of different angels, um visions of different things in the sky, you know, um, different things when it's time for war in our world. I see different things. It let me know the timing that different things are about to happen. Um, like example with the pandemic.
Mhm.
Um, I had seen that it was gonna be a spiritual war. I also seen that, the soldiers, the food, and that this was basically gonna be a fight for our soul. And I seen that through different spiritual beings of light.
Okay.
Um, I don't really get things that's um like for instance dead people or demons and stuff like that. I have observed different things in the spiritual realm, but things that's things that I receive is literally dealing with either myself or the collective.
Okay.
So it'll be things that's to come. I literally see, say for instance, in not the 911. Like I may have seen the building fall down um,
Mhm.
before it occurred with the
Okay.
number, like the date.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and then I say, well, that's why I seen that with the number, like things like that, really future events that I get.
See.
And like different things about people. Um, I may, if I'm talking to you, I may just see something and they like vision or something. It may just come, even if it's like actually, this what happened to me 2 weeks ago. I was doing somebody reading and um, I had just actually seen the snake. It was a snake right by them. And
Mm.
I kept trying to figure out why am I seeing this snake right by them? Why am I seeing this snake right by them? So I told them, they like, well, that's not on the cards. That's not on the cards. I'm like, this is what I'm seeing. Like
Mhm.
this is the vision that I'm seeing. So a lot of my stuff that's supernatural, um, it just be a lot. That's why I can't even really. It just come in many different forms depending on what's happening in the world, what's happening within my life, or a message I need to deliver to somebody. I may see a message, say if somebody ill or something. I know that when they come over, I'm probably gonna talk to them about it or something.
Mhm.
Um, but and I see a lot of things behind the veil, meaning like things that's happening like probably in certain people dream worlds. And I say dream worlds because as I talk to people, they say they didn't dreamed it, or um it may be things that in a collective that you may be dreaming about. A lot of people may be having dreams about stuff occurring in their life or something, and then I may knew that you probably was gonna tell me it was gonna be a dream you had or something.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to explain because that's why I
You're
just
doing a
say
wonderful job.
I'm a seer. Like I just see a lot of things behind a veil, or things that's happening in the world. A lot of my gifts be things that's happening in the world.
Okay.
Um, and usually they come to fruition like shortly after I have it. Sometime it be later, but I deal with a lot of supernatural things. The um I know when certain storms, I get where when certain storms are about to occur, snow coming, like pretty much I see. So I know if the snow is about to come. I'll be seeing snow. That's supernatural when you seeing it before it happened.
It is.
So it's like I just adjusted. As I told you, God don't put nothing on you can't bear. I adjusted. God adjusted my eyes to be more comfortable with it and to understand it. Because at first, I was kind of, nervous and stuff because I was seeing a lot.
Mm.
And I end up realizing like I gotta be seeing it for a reason,
Right.
you know. So that's why I stopped doing my YouTube and all that too,
Mm.
because um I just felt that that wasn't it, you know, that it just wasn't it. And then I was also being guided to know that that wasn't it, you
Okay.
know. So I just I'm happy I don't see a lot of things like some people with their gifts, their experience, like you said, dead people and all that kind of stuff. Like I never experienced that. Like people in my family had gifts like that, but I never experienced that. I more so see the more light beings, if anything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something different. Maybe
yeah,
that was
it's
an
totally
aura that I
something.
was seeing coming up the steps. Mm.
Yeah, that's why I say like sometimes it can be spiritual beings too.
Mhm.
And a lot of these spiritual beings they deliver you messages, you know. Um See, the one thing about knowledge is also it's beyond. See, I didn't understand that it goes beyond. So it goes beyond things that our eyes sometimes don't, well, most of the time don't be comfortable to see or understand. So I think that's why when we on our spiritual path, we start off on the lower levels because as you keep evolving, you start recognizing that it's other things that play a major component in how this world is being guided and orchestrated, God's plan, even with the light and the dark. So I think through I didn't see like um, different like things that was not of light, and it'll be like referencing to stuff that's happening in a collective. That's
Mhm.
how I would know if different things are occurring within people that's gonna bring anger or some kind of it may transpire some kind of huge event in a collective, like for instance the school shooting or something. You
Mhm.
know, it's all it's all orchestrated. That's why I tell people trust in God's plan. God know your life plan
Mhm.
and know that for sure. And at first I used to doubt, but I can honestly say I know that for sure because you worry about things that you don't have no control over. You worry about things that if you worry about things that don't even matter.
Right. And you can't
Um,
be walking through fear. And when you say orchestrated, I just want to make this clear. Are you saying that that so the people that's doing the shooting, that's kind of already in they life path, and whoever
exa-
is the victim or privy to that.
exactly. So that's how come when you would hear like even a seer or psychic whatever say something. See, I didn't understand that because like I told you, I just was just always just like I said, I didn't even know I was meditating when I was meditating. It
Mhm.
just always been natural and I look stuff up. But one thing I did notice is that God walks before us. So that's why I see future stuff, forward stuff.
Mhm.
So you gotta ask yourself, how is his people, chosen people, or whatever, divine people delivering message, they able to see the future and it come, you know, come to the light. I had to gain the understanding that it is orchestrated, whether we want to believe it or not. It's God's plan. Co-creating, you can co-create. That means being guided by God to help you walk on the path He chose for you. That don't mean you about to co-create your whole life by yourself, or you gonna tell God what you about to do because now you feel you want to do this. It's not, it don't work like that. When I say I'm co-creating with God, that means that I'm walking the path that God designed my life to be. And I chose to walk my divine path to co-create. That don't mean that I'm about to manifest everything that I want. See, people got that manifestation and what they want, what they heart, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Even when you have a vision. So I started learning through seeing different things that you being guided. And It's already written. The
Yeah, it
message
was.
is already here. So, and God left it on your heart for you to know your blueprint. You
Mhm.
know, your blueprint, you got to be able to tap in it. And I tell anybody, like, I know I'm a vessel for God. So, anybody that you do assist on a spiritual path, the main thing is to help to assist in things that they may, like as I told you with me, that I didn't understand.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't make a mistake or wouldn't do something because I was unsure because the lack of knowledge or something. So that's why anytime I do a reading or I talk to anyone, I constantly tell them to go within because that's where your power steal from. Even if you got the most talented people helping you, you gotta understand that God can only give you that power you looking for. um,
Mhm.
and open your conscience because it's a reason everybody third eye ain't open. Some people they don't need to be open because they may use it for different things that may not be accordingly to God's plan. So even as us light workers and everything healers, we got to be mindful of that
Mhm.
because you don't want to be waking nobody up that ain't meant to, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And or they may start seeing things like you said, dealing with the supernatural that they never experienced or they have no understanding of, and you not around to help them support them on that journey.
Mhm. Now they going crazy.
Now they going crazy
Mhm.
because they may be getting some confused with something that been conditioned in their mind, because you got to remember it's rewiring your consciousness.
Mhm.
So that means erasing certain things that you've been conditioned to get real. So it can be a lot of stuff get tangled up. And if you don't have no one guiding you and you trust in, say, me to help you on this path, you got to be able to assist that person along their journey,
Yeah.
especially if they may be weak in certain areas or need healing in certain areas to even get them to where now they able to harness their own power, you know what I mean, and get their own covering, because a lot of that's why I feel we in place. It's like we helping save people. That's exactly what it is. You saving people. I
Mhm.
just told my grandbaby I am a superhero. I
Yes, you
told
are.
him, guess what he said? Who
What?
are you, Wonder Woman? I said, yeah, I'm the Black Wonder Woman. Yes. But I'm just serious though. That is our superpower. We have so much power in us. You could feel the power once you activate it. It feel
Mhm.
like lightning. You'll think you had 10 cups of coffee. And I know when my power is being drained, when I'm giving too much of it. But I
Mhm.
don't lose power from when I do readings or nothing like that. It's unlimited because it's coming from God. It's unlimited. So I don't have to have a special circumstance or none of that kind of stuff. It's
You
unlimited
don't
when
feel drained afterward or nothing?
you know it's
Cause
just a unlimited thing.
okay.
But that's what it is when when you using your natural. See, a lot of people see they not gonna tell you that. A lot of times they get drained because they not using their power coming from divine source. So they need to be able to feed it. This how you know a true chosen one or a divine child, a true, because they not gonna get drained. It's unlimited. It's like your power is gold. That's why anyone that do that, they'll tell you it's golden power. So it's no way you could get drained for something that you're built to do. Only time you get drained from something you built when you're not built to do it. That's why they gotta steal and harvest people power to be able to still
Mhm.
give you a message. It's that's why, what is it that the names they use in the tarot? Vampire energy. It's true.
Mhm. You gotta be
So I
so
don't
careful.
yeah, so it don't really drain me at all.
Okay.
It actually give me more light because I know I'm helping somebody. Like I said, you feel good when you helping somebody. And it don't only time I go get drained is when I'm having um activations, and it can be, or like we had the winter solstice, you know, the world went around and felt like I went around too. Literally, I see in the spiritual like me going around, like where my body physically felt dizzy. Like I have when I'm lifting my vibration, I can feel sometimes like I'm spinning, and which that is, you spinning, and then it comes down, and then sometimes it never get really bad or nothing. But I notice when I rest because I already know. Okay, I'm transcending right now. I'm evolving. You know, my appetite to change. I may feel nauseated. You know, different things, but I rest and I'm back straight. Them the only times during different moon phases, eclipse, and different things where our body is connected. So I feel no emotions. That's how I know like this about to be a powerful moon or this about to be a powerful eclipse. Right now we in the
Mhm.
like, and I've been feeling it in the energy with. I just looked something up yesterday. Like, where is this planet at right now? Because as soon as I read it, I said that's exactly why I'm feeling like this.
I know I've been feeling like I don't want to do nothing.
That's that's the energy I'm talking about. See, once you start paying attention, you don't fault your body. You don't fault yourself
Mm,
for wanting to rest because a lot of people, oh no, I gotta do this. No, you have to pay attention to that
you
because
do.
you
I
don't
don't
feel
push it.
worried about it. Like if
Mm.
anything coming up, you know it's just not you. You evolving, you healing from different things being switched around, you know. And when you on the right side, it's getting switched around so the universe can work in your favor. So you gotta rest with that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that
Yeah.
kind of change occurring. And if your body feeling it, you know your body changing with it. That means something new is about to occur. Like what you feeling drained right now, guess what? Next week you may learn that you know how to do something else. You're gonna be thinking like, how did I don't remember doing that?
Honey, I don't know. You know what? The two is a couple factors. I know it's something changing, and then my body's going through its own thing too. On top of it,
Yeah.
well, it's about to go through its own thing, and then two. Remember, I told you earlier I was meditating, and I had that doggone. Um, I'll show you.
Crystal.
I had that. Ooh, that doggone selenite. Now you know this is
Oh
big.
yeah. Yeah. I got one right here, but mine's small.
Yeah, and I put that boy on my head just to see.
Oh yeah, cause this the one my amethyst. This the one for the third eye.
Yeah, the amethyst.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I
used
woulda
to.
put up there, but I said, "Let me try the selenite."
Yeah, but I hold it here and there.
Mhm.
I hold it here and there, girl, cause I don't need no more third eye open.
I hear you. This bring me to my next thing. So, with you were talking about events and stuff like that. Um, with what we're going through right now, I got a couple questions. One, do you see this actually working for the good? And two, do you believe that the preventative or the measures that they're taking and that they're trying to make us take, do you think that is a monetary thing or is something far more sinister, or is it monetary in both, something more sinister, or
Sinister.
okay.
You couldn't have said that's the perfect word you use. Sinister. Um, I'm gonna
And how,
say that this
okay.
is very important. See, I was getting a lot of things. I was getting a lot of visions around the mind. Okay, we all know that what's happening in the world, you know how it's conditioned our mind with different beliefs and stuff. But I feel that what's occurring right now or what's about to occur is going to be a lot more severe. They already been killing us through all other ways, but I'm gonna tell you this. It's about to be something where you gonna be. I feel like locked in. It was something just locked into something. When I say locked in, I don't know if that's dealing with that metaverse, because I was getting something with that virtual reality world they creating.
That's what I think.
I think that virtual world, they are literally even through the social outlets. I think that's why I got off my stuff at a certain time.
Hmm.
I know for sure it's something with the 5G. I know that for sure.
I think they're
Uh,
trying to trap. I said
yeah,
this
it's
to my
something with your
husband,
mind.
and he thought I was crazy, but he laughed, and he thinks it's just about money, and I'm not
No,
dissing him
it's
for
beyond
laughing.
money.
I think
They
they're
got
trying to
enough.
trap your
They have
consciousness.
a lot of money. You got to understand that they have a lot of money.
Right.
Okay. See, people got to understand this is literally a spiritual fight for your soul.
Mhm.
You got to understand this. If they get, like, for instance, with the pandemic, look at how it separated everybody. It's
Mhm.
even separate people now who got the vaccinations, who don't have it.
Mhm.
You not being around your family, working from home, all kind of stuff. It's mighty funny how a lot of stuff been implemented that was already in the making before the pandemic. So they already knew you was about to be at home. They already knew you was about to be. So that's when I told you about orchestrated. These things are designed. They are very calculated. Um, and right now, people may be wondering, like, okay, so what I supposed to do? You supposed to put yourself first. You supposed to be getting closer to God. You don't supposed to be following all them people that you looking at. Put more time into the enemy device.
Mhm.
It's so many other things that you can do to make sure you are covered. That's why I mentioned it earlier about being covered.
Mhm.
Um, the weather, okay? The weather is gonna wipe people out. Okay, the storms. Um, it's important right now to really, really get close to God. And some of the things that I be knowing, um, I used to get sad about certain things, but
Mhm.
I didn't been through a whole lot since then, and I just know it's God's plan. It's nothing you could do when it's God's plan. Like I
So
used to always think like, oh, it's something I could. All we supposed to be doing is really trying to get people to the light. Remember how I told you, if I'm not doing something, one thing a day to just do something for somebody, say something. That's our main purpose. It's you see, I just told you, it's 11 million people following one person that's of
mhm.
dark.
Mhm.
It's so many people need to be brought to the light. So that's our duty. Light mean giving them information,
Yeah.
not resource. They need knowledge. They
Mhm.
can have all the resources you seen when the pandemic with the unemployment money, the all that. These people still didn't do nothing
Mhm.
because
'Cause
it's
it's
far
deeper than that.
beyond. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's our main. Everybody wonder. I ain't found my purpose. Your purpose as you a spiritual being here is to help people get them to the light.
Mhm.
Everybody think they don't know their purpose, but they don't want that to be their purpose. You see what I'm saying? You were created for a way better reason than what we doing right now.
So what do you say? What if the person, let's say somebody's watching this and they be like, "Man, I took that foreign um, antidote into my system." You got to be careful what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what am I to do now? Like now they're in regret. Like what can they do?
I'm gonna tell you this: if they took that antidote and they didn't have no repercussions from it, and they having second thoughts, don't get it no more. I feel like this. That's just like a person been in a car accident. It could have been two people in the same car accident. One died, one made it. You just thank God you got your life and you keep trying to live on. You try to move forward and make a better decision the next time. What else can you do? You can't beat yourself up about it. If you worry too hard, if you worry too much about it, you gonna manifest something to happen on you because that energy of the negativity gonna bring you what you don't want to occur. So you
Yeah.
damn sure don't want to do that. The next best thing would be since I'm now that I know what I know, I'm not gonna do it the next time.
Yeah.
Think about this. They even trying to I didn't even heard the argument when they was trying to say that you still gotta get it if even if your religion don't believe in it. I heard them even claim that God will want you to get it.
Mm, that's
If
crazy.
it's dealing with anything that's harming humanity. They are so manipulative. So
And
if
it
you
don't make
was a
sense.
person of God and you thinking, I don't want to get, I don't want, you hear them say that, they'll run. Most people went and got it because they said that.
And it's
Oh,
crazy. And
how
it's a
we
lot
want
of
me to get it?
sanctified or people that call themselves sanctified. And this is what I don't understand. And this is another thing that is very concerning to me about very religious people because I almost think that that stuff is demonic at this point
It
because they're
is.
so lost.
It is. They like lost souls.
They are. And then they're fear driven. But that
Yes.
whole thing is fear. It's fear
Yes.
mongering. That's what religion
It's
is.
fear.
Do this or
It
you're
is.
gonna go here.
Yeah,
You're gonna burn. You're
God,
gonna
and God
yeah.
don't forgive. If they say God is they'll tell you one hand, God's a forgiving God, but then, like, let me be clear though, God is forgiving God. He is love, but He ain't nobody to play. God is nothing to play with.
Right.
That I want to be clear on that. But I think a lot of us understand that too. You know, that really believe in God. We know God not to play with, but I think it get lost because people start fear to even go to God for forgiveness. Cause now they feeling that God that left me this far. I mean, I don't see my life being no better. So then they tend to think God don't exist. But until you understand the supernatural and the spiritual fight,
Mhm.
you not gonna really get it. And I didn't understand that. A lot of things I had questions too. I don't have them no more about that. Like
Mhm.
why my mother or why the world it is the way it is today. A lot of them questions God answered right for me and showed me. And now I honestly can say like I don't even got them questions no more because like they say, it's God's plan, light or dark. It's like which side you gonna be on. That's what people gotta make up. Which side you on? Because if you on the light, you gonna be doing things of light. And if they were, this world would be vibrating in a whole better vibration than it is. So that tell you how many evil people is in this world. That's why it's
So
nothing but evil.
so from a collective standpoint, do you see even just like there is evil, good exists. So do you see some good going forward coming out of this or do you see us going through this for a few more years? Like what is your thoughts or feelings regarding the future?
I think that that's gonna depend on each one of us.
Okay.
When I say that, meaning if you choose today to make better decisions that you made yesterday, your future gonna be bright. That is your future. Say
Mhm.
the person standing next to you, they made decisions not to in this time where everything's shifting. They're not, and they're not gonna have that same get receive the same rewards you may get during this shift or what you coming out of because you took action. say you gain more knowledge, you start meditating more, you start getting closer to God, so your outcome is going to be totally different
Okay.
from that person. So in the collective, that's why it's important for us to spread the light, because we stronger in numbers. So
Yes.
if we can connect and we pushing that energy through, it'll pass to the next person. It'll go just like how a virus spread. It'll spread the same kind of way. And then you
Right.
able to change it in the collective. But if you're not changing, I'm not changing, my kids not changing, they have kids, they don't change, it's gonna continue to spread the disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a lot of good things happening for the future, but that don't necessarily mean that everybody gonna make it, because it's I feel that a lot of things that I receive about the future is really, you know the saying when they say you born by yourself, it's important for, I've been saying this for, I found myself about to say it again. It's important for you to really, really, really go within.
Yep.
I can't express that enough, because that's where your power is. Seriously, it's like this shift is real. The ones that scared, say you scared, they never looked at it, never ignore every sign. I don't want to hear that. I don't do that. That's gonna determine your destiny. And if this is a new age and new is coming in, and you not part of that new, what you think about the occur? What you thought it means new world coming in? It said God was bringing a new world in, not this old world. So that means you want to be a part of this new world, you have to be of what? Of light, higher
Hmm.
vibration. That's why we're experiencing so many people dying in storms, floods, and the pandemic.
It's a purge.
It's bringing balance, exactly. And with balance, it's gonna be some casualties. It's gonna be different things that occur. We just gotta be thankful that we was still chose to still be here, because that's why I told you, you got to do something of light every day. It's not a game. People thinking it's a game. And if you not pushing that energy towards there, it's going to be hard to survive in this new world.
Yep.
And another thing about this is it's going to be divided. The land is about to be divided. So it's going to be a split. So you got to understand, when the split occurs, it's scheduled to occur. Okay, I just got that now when I'm talking to you. It's scheduled to occur. So once it's scheduled to occur with this shift, certain people not gonna be in control. You gotta be on the right side. See, people that already had options. You see what I'm saying? So them times where you may know people had a lot of options, and they may have turned down the right ones,
Hmm.
because it may have looked like gold on one, the grass is greener on one side, so it's about to be some kind of split. um it's gonna be extremely urgent. See, that deals with a lot of us evolving. So just with you see how you doing what you doing now, you see how you changed a lot of stuff.
Man.
You gotta know that that was the time and place that you need to change it to come through this shift. You see, I'm picking up on that too. So that's probably why you did a lot of them changes, because it's gonna be a divide, and look what you doing. You doing stories of people with like sharing. See, it was important for you to make that transition. So a lot of people making transitions in their life, that's determining what side they gonna be on. And it's gonna be extremely urgent. Maybe some extremely urgent choices that we need to make that's about to be coming soon. But I feel it's about to be something urgent, especially with us dealing with the world. But we just gotta gain control of ourself and our mind. Soon as we gain control of our body and our mind, and meaning watching what we feed ourselves, watching what we feed our minds, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it start to manifest certain things, manifest things that we don't want to see. Because
Mm-hmm.
everything we consume it, it started to beat us. Just like if you listen to a beautiful song, you could feel how that vibration lift your heart to feel happy, nice. And then you listen to another song that's got a whole nother energy to it that got you feeling like you ready to fight somebody, you know. And then we get to work and we wondering why we get an attitude with our coworker or with the kids because we just left getting out the car listening to all that mess. And then we not thinking it's invisible. It's a visible energy.
Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. You
We
really
do.
have to be
We
careful.
do all day. Sometimes it make you don't even want to associate with society because it's a lot of evil here. And I didn't understand the extent to that. I just always wanted to paint a picture that everybody had a good heart. Everybody could be helped. But that's not the case. And that was one of my truths that kind of hurt me because I always believe that it's hope in everyone. But that ain't the case. Some people is literally here to be just part of the dark.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody has a role to play. And it's so true. I want to ask you this about social media too. Did you at a point start feeling like it was draining, like to the I just don't want to do this. Like I don't want to feel obligated to do this. It just became like,
Yep.
okay. Cuz I
Yep.
started feeling like that in the last few months. I was just like, I deleted that whole Instagram.
Yep.
I don't even
Because
have
that's
that
that's
anymore.
your intuition. I told you that.
Mhm.
Yep, that's your intuition. That's why I said God walks before you. That's why you would be thinking, why am I doing this before something occur?
Mhm.
Because when God walked before you, gotta understand, like you said, it's dealing with your protection. He know what's up ahead. You don't see that.
Right.
So it's already gonna be in place. And by the time you reach that destination, you didn't already walk through it without even knowing, thinking like, hold on, that's why I quit that last time because it could have been preventing something else that was about to come in. But for sure, that social media is feeding a lot of negativity.
Oh yeah.
It's so ridiculous that it's obvious now. It's
It
like
is.
it's so obvious that I don't see how people missing the signs.
I don't see
It's
how
like
people missing a
boom,
lot of
boom.
signs. I don't even understand why
I
people,
don't
I
think
mean,
they missing it. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think they missing the signs. This is what I'm figuring that that's something they chose. See, the ones that's meant not to miss it, they not gonna miss it. The ones that are not ready, they are gonna be the ones that fall into the trap. That's why you gotta be ready. And ready mean sometime sometimes you don't have to do something the same old way. We
yeah.
so comfortable with doing things the same way, or um, especially when we talk about church and religion, it's kind of scary. It is. It's scary. It's because some of this stuff I be seeing right through it. I'm thinking like, look how many people they got in here. It sometimes break my heart because I'm thinking like, oh my God, this war is real. This war
Mhm.
is real. Like you don't see this man sitting up here saying, but I'm gonna be honest too, and I'm gonna be truthful. How I even gained to even know that is because I was manipulated. You I also couldn't see certain things. So at one point you got to understand everybody growth is different.
Yes.
You know, because it was times that I was a fool to certain things that people was telling me that was there for me or had my best interest in mind, but I couldn't see it. So in order for me to see it, something I had to have a tower moment. Divine intervention had to step in and say, "Girl, if you don't wake your ass up," you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then after that occurred, I was like, "Woo, I'm wide woke now." And guess what? When I thought I was woke, I still wasn't woke enough. You get what I'm saying? I thought I knew some stuff. But that's why I say when I say strategic, the enemy, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing because I understand how so much chaos and manipulation is able to get through our energy.
Yeah. Well, we got to realize that, I
Even the
brought this up.
most humble people, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
weaknesses your weak. That's why it's important to be grateful and thankful for what you have, because the enemy, soon as you feel you ain't got nothing thankful or you grateful, them are rooms for them to creep in.
Right.
Because they figure, oh, you want more, life ain't enough. It started leaving room for the enemy to attack.
All
That's why
right.
I say be blessed where you at, because it's not able to try to weed you in with material wealth, all kind of stuff.
People get so caught up. They get
You
so
know?
caught up in that.
And it's always the closest people to you that be used, you know. And it's
Ooh,
unfortunate, but that's who you have around you. So that's how come it's used in them people. Especially if you don't let a lot of people in. You
right.
know, I had to learn that. It'll work in a lot of ways that you wouldn't even know. And like I told you, they'd come like they're a bringer of light and helping you and all kind of stuff. Just manipulation, you know.
So true.
But I'm gonna say this: we got a lot of positive things coming, but that's for people that's actually in that vibration.
Hmm.
You know, that's really loving life. And I'm not even trying to be funny. We have to love life.
Yeah. So true.
And until then, if you not loving life or yourself, it's gonna be hard because you gonna eventually fall into the pit. You gonna fall. You gonna fall from grace. Because more than likely you're gonna have to make some decisions that's gonna go against how you truly feel about yourself, and most people not gonna want to face it, so they gonna choose to go the opposite direction because of fear. So I'm gonna say we got a lot of bright days for the believers, but for the people that's on the opposite side, it's about to be hell for them. And I'm just gonna be true. If you chose the wrong side, it's gonna be hell for you.
It's definitely a shift going. I mean, if you
Yeah.
paying attention, it's definitely a shift. I mean, even I think we've talked about this. To me, I always think there's going to be some form of entertainment because entertainment is we have to have the dark and light thing
Yeah.
for balance, and entertainment is it's a programming that all of this is programming you. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I believe a part of it is falling apart from what I can see. It just seems
It
like
is.
it's falling apart.
It's being exposed. A lot of stuff
Yeah.
but guess what? So much stuff being exposed, but some people still choose to. They guess what they say? Yeah, I know it's exposed, but okay. That's what I mean. The ones that choose to say okay, okay. You know, the ones that seen the truth for what it was, guess what they said? Oh shit, I ain't doing that no more. I ain't know that was all about that. They got scared. You know what that happened? They got scared straight. You need to be. So now they're not listening to that. They not doing all that because this scared them so bad. Because when you know you moving far from God and you a God sent person, you love God, you gonna be like, oh no, I can't do that.
Mhm.
So it brought some people back home to God. But some
Mhm.
people said, I don't care about that because that's what everybody else listening to. That's what everybody else wearing. That's what they doing. So them the people that wasn't meant to get carried over. That's how I look at it. And the ones that are, they gonna have a messenger come to them to give them the message to get home. That's how it work. It don't matter where you at, hospital, school, home. You gonna get your message when it's time for you to be on the right side.
Yeah.
And you gonna change things in your life that you probably didn't even think about doing into now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably thought about it, but then implement it into a certain time because now is the time for you to implement. Ain't that you behind on you coming in slow, late arrival? No, it just wasn't a time.
Right. We activate when it's time, baby.
Exactly. And that's
Help
what
us come
happened with
online when it's
you.
time.
That's why you just hit that delete button on that Instagram.
Baby, I'm talking about. And it was crazy because I kept toiling with it. Like, remember we talked about it. You was like, well, can
Yeah.
you just like change
Yeah. I said, can't you
change
just change the name? Yeah.
yeah. And I was like,
You like, I don't know. Yeah. You
I
ain't
felt like
feel
it
it.
was I felt like the energy attached to that page
Yeah.
just didn't make sense to launch something else on it. So I
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got I mean, I've had 2 Instagrams, so I think we friends on the other one too.
Yeah.
I still got
Yeah.
that one. I just don't I'm not posting on nothing, but yeah, man, I it's crazy. And right now
But
I'm
it
still trying to figure
is.
out if Imma let go to that delete that TikTok too. I haven't
Yeah.
posted nothing on it.
I don't have what do I don't have no my Instagram still up, but basically I ain't got no I don't be on no social media. I do a YouTube video here and there, but even then,
Mhm.
I just feel that like I told you, I need to be more into the field. You know,
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't mind like what we doing now. You know, I don't mind that, but certain platforms they on top of it because they know the spiritual community, the real ones, okay? The original people is trying to push a whole new energy in. So you gotta remember, like I told you, they calculate, they already know this, okay?
Yeah.
So
They
of course
watching.
they gonna have safeguards in place to make sure that you don't lift it up. And once we start recognizing that this is a game to them, this is literally a game, and they playing with our life. They playing with our life, our kids' lives, our everything.
Yeah, I think that this now technology has its benefits, and this is something like we're doing this now. This is even still a secondary.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
primary is actually going out. You gotta get
yeah,
back mobile now
yeah.
and
That's what I
getting in
said.
front of people. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't rely on social media to
because
be
that's what they trying to push us to do. Like
yeah.
you said, we gotta get to people. They trying to push you on this social media. That's why you got Twitter,
So they can
Instagram,
control it.
Facebook, TikTok. What's it's some other ones now. So if you don't like that platform, I got a whole nother one for you.
Mhm.
Now they gonna
Mhm.
connect the what is it, the Bitcoin to all these games. Now you about to be in debt over games. They in debt right now. They be betting all kind of money.
It's
Okay,
crazy. It's
over a
crazy.
game, over a PS, whatever it's called, a game. Okay, over a basketball game.
Mhm.
Okay,
And mhm. And the new apps are striving to be like the originals. So it's only a matter of time before they get caught up in the game because of what they trying to
yeah,
aim for. They not
yeah.
trying to be different. So you got to, and then I guess I'm getting clarity right now as I'm talking to you. You got to get out there because as long as you stay on here, they can control your move.
Exactly my point.
You see what I'm saying?
They
That's why they
can.
want you online because
They shut.
they can shut
They
you down.
control.
Mhm, stop
You. Yeah,
your reach, but it's something
yeah.
about when Jesus with the story of Jesus, when he was his ministry was footing it.
Yeah.
He footed
Yeah.
his ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we gotta do now. To do one
Exactly.
serious about this, we gotta get out there.
Exactly. And the main thing you said when you started this off, you said that everybody got a story. It don't
Mhm.
matter if it's the guy at the corner or whatever. And you right. Because them the people, Jesus helped, he helped people. They didn't have to have no title. They didn't have to be you just gotta know this. You gotta meet people where they at. And I
Yep.
feel like Jesus met people where they at, where they was at. And that's important. Actually, he ain't even preach at a church, he preached on
Right.
on the mountain. Like, so
Mhm.
you got to think about all that. It's a reason why we know that. And I
Mhm.
feel that they trying to control everything we do. And a lot of it's working.
A mountain away from the general public. So if you were
Exactly.
coming to see Jesus, you were coming to get a specific message. And
Exactly.
it wasn't amongst the common area, and that's the thing. It's just
Exactly.
and this is why we'll be having events. By the time you see this, event probably has already happened, but we will
Yeah.
be having events, and the people
Yeah.
that wanna see us will come.
Yeah.
We'll be
But you
crafty
right.
on how we list them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what we need to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. They control everything. And that's what's happening.
Yep.
Look, you don't even remember nobody's telephone number. You got it stored in under their name. So if you was to
Okay.
lose your phone, back then you used to could just remember everybody's number. Nah, girl, I gotta go in, look up the name, find the number.
This is what
Just your
and it's
memory,
yeah.
right? Affecting your memory where you not even storing the information no more. You relying on this tool right here to do it.
Yep, they don't want you to trust yourself and rely on yourself. It's all in
Exactly.
the design. It's all in the design. Well,
Yeah.
Keisha, we've been going 2 hours and
Yes,
31
in
minutes.
31 minutes.
This is an
Yeah.
amazing interview. Imma have to get you
Yes.
back on here because you know we can go, we could talk, talk,
Yes.
talk, 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 and then, you're a plethora of information just alone,
Thank
you know.
you. I love being on your stuff. You know
Thank
that.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, Imma have to, Imma have to call you so we can talk, but yeah, I thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on the show.
You for having
If there's Oh, you're very welcome. If there's anywhere you want people to follow you or anything like that, I'll let them know. If you I know you're not really messing with the social media, but if you are interested in, telling them,
yeah.
you
My
know,
email, spiritualtalk101@gmail.com.
that works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Works, that
My
works.
email. Yeah,
That
because I
works.
still do personal reads and everything, but no, I don't be on social media. I
Okay.
might post a message here and there, but no, I ain't dealing with it either.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
Again,
no time soon. That's what I said. Yeah,
well, thanks again, and we gonna get
no
out of
problem.
here, and we
Okay.
will see you very soon. Very
Yes,
soon.
yes, yes.
All right, girl.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.